Welcome to Good News You Can Use, your weekly dose of positivity. It's just so much chaos going on in the world. Want to once a week take a quick time out and just focus on good stuff that's happening in the world around us. We should be doing that on a daily basis. At least once a week, we can take a couple minutes to have a conversation about good things that are happening. Like, for example, looking historically, the long arc of history. It's like on this day let me make sure I'm getting the dates here right, or I will goof it up for you. Yeah, on this day in 1787, the Constitutional Congress convened. So they started to write what would be ratified as the U.S. Constitution on this day in 1787. Took a couple of years to get it done, but they eventually got it done. It was a new form of self government. It was the first time in modern history that people had the opportunity to set up a government by the people for the people, as opposed to having people that were deigned to be experts, right? Either by blood or by training. Only the royals and the people that they appointed could rule, could have a say in how and what the rules were for life, who got arrested, could even decree the death penalty, with no recourse. That all changed beginning in 1787 with the Constitution. Yeah, we had that little thing called the Revolutionary War that led up to it, but it was an opportunity for people to go, no, you know what? We want to live my own life. In the movie The Patriot, there's a great couple of lines that one of the actresses says, one of the characters, and it says, going about their days without so much as a by your leave, where you don't have to ask permission to live, to do things. Whereas royals, technocrats, autocrats, tyrants, they require that you get your permission, their permission. They dictate, they state that only certain people can rule lives. You can't rule your own. That's not true. And thankfully, we have the U.S. Constitution for that. Another thing, on this day, love and history today, on this day in 1961, John F. Kennedy set the challenge to put people on the moon, put men on the moon. And 1969, it happened. Fast forward to 1977, on this day, we get Star Wars, the first Star Wars movie. Yeah, the title's since been changed. I'm going to ignore that because I remember 1977 when that movie came out, it changed movies. It changed storytelling forever. Some would argue maybe not for the better. I certainly did, along with a bunch of other people that saw it in the theater for the first time. That was back when we had actual big screens, not the multiplexes that have the slightly larger than what you have in home screens these days. But it was just an amazing experience in the display of technology, space flight. There was a lot of positive in there. Plus, the underdog won. Don't know about you. I love a great underdog story. What else have we got going here? We're catching up to modern times, catching up to today's date. But before we get there, speaking of space, on this day in 2012, the SpaceX Dragon became the first commercial spacecraft to dock with the International Space Station. Now, keep looking over here because I want to make sure I'm giving you the right info. We get a lot of different sources looking for some positive information. So that was a huge breakthrough because it opened up space travel, right? We're in our lifetimes, for some reason, since the early 1970s, we haven't put anybody on the moon. There's been some space travel, but we haven't had anybody on the moon. This whole thing about going to Mars, which was considered doable at that time, hasn't happened yet. Not that it's not doable. For some reason, we lost our way. And now we have an option for moving beyond our planet, which, geology shows us that Earth is subject to getting hit by big stuff from outer space every so often. And the only real insurance that we have for survival as a species, for human race to survive, is to be off planet, to be beyond the planet. Because if we get smacked by an asteroid or a comet, or the sun goes supernova and melts everything in our solar system, we've got someplace else to be, so that at least humanity will survive, as crazy as humanity is. Now, current times. I'm going to keep this short. Current times, dolphins. Imagine this. Dolphins actually do facial scrubs, well, not exactly facial scrubs, but it turns out the dolphins line up, and getting this from Good News Network. Thank you, goodnewsnetwork.org, where they line up along a certain type of coil so that they can rub up against it, grind their skin against it, and it helps refresh the skin. How cool is that, right? So people aren't the only ones that get skin peels. Pretty amazing stuff. And I want to leave you with this thought. This is pretty amazing. Researchers, this is from Newsmax.com, a study limiting TV to less than 1 hour daily lowers risk of heart disease. Thank you for that one, Newsmax. Oh my gosh, how credible is that? So the study showed that if and I'm looking over here again because I want to make sure I get the right information for you. That just by watching, by limiting TV to just under 1 hour a day would reduce heart attacks, coronary disease by 11%. 11% of, and this is the quote, 11% of coronary heart disease cases could be eliminated. So, now that we're done, and this is 21st century television, turn it off. We're going to say goodbye. So just turn it off. I want to be part of your less than an hour of daily television. So we're going to keep this short. It's for your health. Hey, come on now. Got to laugh some, right? Laugh with me, laugh at me, just laugh. Enjoy the journey. It's good for you. Laughter is good for the health. Thanks so much for being part of Good News You Can Use. We'll be back with Wolf's Watch very shortly. Thank you so much. See you next week.